everyone. Welcome to a conversation with Joshua T. Berglan. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we have Dr. Jason Dean, the founder of Brave TV. And also, he is a functional nutrition and expert chiropractor. But really, one of his main focuses is helping people get clean. And I'm not talking about off drugs, even though that probably factors into it also. I'm talking about cleaning out our system from all of the nasty toxins and parasites and the other things that we've done to our body unknowingly. Yeah, he's one of those guys that helps get rid of all of that. Those of you who've been jabbed and boosted, look, I'm not all about spreading fear, but I am about delivering truth. If you've been jabbed and boosted, you have some things in your body that you need to get rid of. And I won't go into all the details right now. I've shared this on other broadcasts. But I'm going to let the doctor speak to it as a professional and someone who has worked countless numbers of people, but also someone who's dedicated their life to helping people get well. And those of you out there that are like, oh, he's a chiropractor, he's not a real doctor. Let me just tell you this. Your other doctors try to kill you. At least if they were advertising, hey, you need to take the vaccine. Hey, you need to take the booster. They were trying to kill you. At least chiropractors, the worst thing that they could possibly do is jump on your back a little bit too hard, push a little hard, crack your neck where it scares you to death. But really, ultimately, every chiropractor I've ever worked with ever in my life, even having 2 back surgeries, has had the intention to help me and has helped me. So I got to tell you, I'm all about listening to what he has to say. But the fact is this, the proof is in the pudding. Like, he's been helping people get well. And at this point, who are you going to trust, right? I believe that God created us to be able to heal ourselves. And through plants, through just our own bodies, through meditation, through prayer, I believe that we are designed to heal ourselves or help each other heal. And so at this point, after having so many things try to be forced down my throat, whether it's from social media, the media, my own doctors, trying to scare me into taking something that I knew wasn't right for me. I've had enough of all that. So I want to listen to people that go, yeah, you know what? Your body is designed to heal itself. And maybe through some manipulation, like the right kind of manipulation of your body, cracking things around, moving things around, getting in proper alignment. I would rather listen to that right now. Someone that believes I was created to heal myself or be healed by my fellow man, but not some medication. I want to listen to that. And I want to hear what he has to say. Because I took a look at his store on Brave TV. They have a store with all of the products that they sell. And these are legitimate products. While I haven't seen all of the studies and the source of the ingredients, I can tell you right now that everything that they're selling there lines up with natural healing. And it's worth checking out. So without further ado, I'm really excited to get into this because I'm probably going to ask some really wild questions, especially about parasites, because I've dealt with them myself and they're not a lot of fun. I've done a parasite cleanse and it's worth it. Freaky. It's freaky, I'm not going to lie. But it's needed because parasites are freaking everything. I'm convinced now, and this is a side note, and I love bacon. I really do. Bacon, even though I'm not eating meat right now, I like bacon a lot. I actually think that bacon may be the source of a lot of the parasites, but I'm going to let the doctor speak to that. Nonetheless, I am grateful that you're here. Grateful for all of you that have subscribed to the video platform, which is now by membership only. Thank you so much for your support. Those of you who know or have already subscribed, thank you. Those of you who will, thank you in advance. And of course, the podcast is always free. And also, one last reminder, buy one, give one on all of my media services on joshuatberglan.com. All right, without further ado, please welcome, just seems like a super cool human being, Dr. Jason Dean. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a conversation with Joshua T. Berglan and Dr. Jason Dean. Jason, I am so blessed to have you here. First, out of the gate, I respect and love the work that you're doing. To me, you're leading the way in helping people understand that our bodies were designed to heal themselves. And yeah, we may need some assistance from some manipulation or some natural products. But that said, What you're doing is showing people that God created us with the ability to heal ourselves. And he gave us everything on this earth to be able to do so. So I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the stand that you've taken. I'm grateful for the work that you're doing. And I'm just really excited to get into this conversation. But before we get into all that, can you tell us, what are you grateful for today and why?
First of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate that beautiful introduction. That's a good question, what you're grateful for. We all should be starting our days with what are we grateful for? I have to give you my obvious because I have an amazing God and creator that put me here during this time for this experience, which is mind-blowing. My wife and daughter, obviously, because it's my rock, it's my foundation at home. And to be on the same page with my wife and obviously our daughter, we're raising her, there's so many people struggling with that today with their families not on the same page. So my wife and I share the same purpose. We understand the same stuff. But beyond that, again, it goes back to being alive during this time. And although it has its share of stress as the gray hairs are manifesting themselves more and more, and I'm not that old necessarily, the tension, it's been a stressful 3 years specifically, but at the same time, I didn't necessarily design myself or put out there that I would be doing the media, I'm doing my show, reaching millions of people to teach them about not only healthcare, but just how the whole system works. And so I always tell people, you put a purpose and goal out there for yourself at times where you want to do things you want to do. You ask your creator, hey, I want to be here, kind of put me in this right. But then what'll happen is I'll be walking around the house or doing something, or I'll just get off the phone with somebody important and I'll be like, wait. And I'll have this almost like this revelation or epiphany of, wait a second, I asked for that 5 years ago, but I would have never done it that way. And it's so much better because my way of trying to get there,
oh my gosh,
wasn't really it was a good way, but God makes it like 100x better. And you're like, oh my God, like I could not have planned that. That could only come from my desire to do it. And then the universe aligning up the way he wants it to line up to get there. And so the long story short is grateful for being here to do what I'm doing every day and to help wake up a public.
Such a time as this. I want to go back because you brought up your family and your wife, and that resonates with me because the path that we chose has been the most uncomfortable path. And yeah, and you're right. I asked God for that we're doing right now. I just never in my wildest dreams thought it was going to unfold like this. Never thought I would be in Minnesota. Like I'm an LA guy. That's where I want to be. It's where my heart is. And God diverted me here. And then I met the absolute best thing that's ever happened to me as far as a person in my life, my wife. And then I've been blessed with 2 children. We as a family share a vision. That's the only way we would have been able to withstand being deplatformed from every social media site. Everything looked like it was being taken away from us, but it's only just furthered us on our path. And without a wife and a family that supported this vision and believed in the bigger picture, not the right here in front of my face, there's no way I could do it. There's no way we could do it. So it is such a blessing to have that. And I just love that is part of your gratitude. It's super cool to me, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's as you mature. I was when I was in my, first of all, I'm really thankful, by the way, that when I was growing up, we didn't have these cell phone things because, hey, I was young and stupid at one time, but we mature and grow up, and especially once you have a kid, right? I have a daughter, and the things that I think of today and the things and how I look at life today versus when I was in my 20s and immortal and, hey, I can do stupid stuff because I'm young and no one's going to tell me not to do it. And it's a maturity process. So we're here, and it's just, also, it's a waking up process for all of us. I truly believe we live in a country that it's an amazing country, but one of the problems, and this is part of this awakening, is I often get the question on purpose. And I'm going to give you a weird angle on this. So people will say about purpose, and I tell them, I go, your purpose is something you're given to do, almost programmed into your soul or your being to do when you get here. So my purpose is one, to change healthcare, but also save as many children from this system out there. And a lot of people will tell me my purpose is to be a mom or to dad and I go, oh, back up. That's not your purpose. And they take it offensively at times. I go, I'm not trying to be offensive. I go, that's not your purpose. And they're like, what do you mean it's not my purpose? And I go, it's your responsibility. You decided to bring a child into the world. You decided to get married. That you can be a great parent because that's what you're supposed to be, right? That's not a purpose. Purpose is, what were you designed, not as a body, as a being, as a soul? What were you designed? Who are you designed to go out and serve and help? And you can be an amazing parent while you're doing it, because I have to be a good dad. My mom or my wife has to be a good mom. But my daughter's not my purpose. She's my responsibility. I have to teach her to be a good citizen, to do right, to not wrong. But she's not my purpose every day. And honestly, she has to find her purpose as well. But I think it's interesting because it's part of that awakening process is what does the average person need to be doing? And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are a little bit lost in that area because we've been so programmed, whether by television, movies, leaders, people in our lives, etc., programmed to be average. And I don't believe we're ever designed to be average.
No, I believe we were created to be extraordinary, because it also takes an extraordinary purpose and resolve to be able to withstand the journey. Like, we all have a hero's journey, and it's beautiful. But I also understand why so many people give up on it, because it does sometimes feel out of reach. It seems impossible. Choosing the path that you've chosen to basically go up against the medical establishment, to go up really against the whole establishment, and then having the nerve to use media to go attack the media with. And when I say attack, I mean it in the most loving way possible, because I have a very similar mission. So I get it. And I love, and this is why I admire doing what you're doing. And also the fact that you are a medical professional, you're a chiropractor, you're an expert in wellness. To take that, you're automatically, when you take that first step to fight, you put your credibility on the line. You set yourself up to be mocked and ridiculed. And so I want to ask you about that, because taking the stand that you've taken against doctors and MDs, and I understand that you are a doctor, you're a doctor of chiropractic, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So that comes with, and first of all, by the way, I'm grateful for my chiropractors, because I wouldn't be walking without them. I actually prefer chiropractors over traditional medicine any day. I said this at the beginning and you didn't see my intro, but I'm anti-big pharma in every sense of the word. And if I could find an alternative, which I want to talk to you about, for my HIV medication, I would be completely removed from everything healthcare.
Sure.
Now that is the one thing I take that is involved with big pharma.
Yep.
I would love to find an alternative to not, even though I'm undetectable now and all that. But I want to rewind that real quick. What I want to ask you is, when you decided to take this step up and to put your credibility and everything on the line to confront the medical establishment and provide natural cures and so forth, what was that experience like for your family receiving? I'm assuming that you received backlash, a lot of mockery, and a lot of people challenging your actual credibility. What was that like for you?
Yeah, a good question. Again, very fortunate to have, my wife is also a chiropractor, and luckily she's always been on the same page from day one. And I found that world when I met her. And so first and foremost, having her right there, not questioning anything that I would say, is gigantic. The only thing she'll tell me is all right, can you back off a little bit on that post? Can you let's back it up a little bit? Can you not, don't punch him right in the face? Can we tone it down a little? And not that I'm going to, but she'll be like, you're right, but let's not bring the attack on us. So that's the funny part. So I grew up, so I'm the byproduct of a divorced home, which was, I always found ridiculous growing up, because I'm that really weird, strange person. Not to say that divorce can't happen, because obviously if two people are if bad things are happening, then obviously you can't be with people. But I always looked at it and went, if you got together for the right reason, why would you break up? It never made sense to me. And so I resonated with truth. And because my mom, my parents, they always said, tell the truth. We always say, tell the truth. But I don't know if people really think to tell the truth, because I'm they just said, tell the truth. So you're supposed to tell the truth. And So I'll give you a story. You might find this story interesting. When I was, I want to say probably somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 2010. Now I've been awake since '05, maybe a little before that, somewhere in the area. And because I entered into the healthcare field, I was in business before that. And I was awake, but not like awake. And met my wife, her parents awake. And so I end up here. But I remember in 2010, so I talk to God like all day long.
Yeah.
I'm always like asking myself questions, which is a good and bad thing in life. Like when you, like people always, they're like, what are you thinking about? And I'm like, because people might be like, is he upset? Is he sad? Is he mad at something? I'm like, no, I'm probably just asking myself questions and getting answers back. And so I remember vividly driving down the road in my vehicle. And this is the question, or this is what I asked for. I said, I just want to know the whole truth, nothing but the truth, no matter what. Like, why are we here? And it was a very direct question, man. It wasn't like I wasn't playing. It wasn't a hard question. It was very subtle. Like I was just having a conversation with myself. It wasn't this like grinding, give me answers now, whatever. It was just floated it out there in the universe, as I say. And I get this answer back. And keep in mind, this wasn't like a 10-minute conversation. It was like seconds, but it feels longer in your mind.
For sure.
And the reply back in my mind was, what if everything you believe is true and real is the opposite? Everything. And I go, and so in my head, this is what happens. So I get that reply back, right? And it was vivid. Like it was a vivid, clear reply. No joking kind of thing. Now, again, it felt like it was a 10-minute conversation, but this happened in nanoseconds, right? I very quickly saw flash before my eyes. Okay, every single day I get up, I have a purpose to help people, save people's lives through health, and help and save as many kids as possible. So I go, no matter what you change, I'm going to get up and do the same thing tomorrow because we're told to help and serve. So I said, again, very, very fast, nanoseconds, I replied back, okay, done. So that's all it took. And at the time, it's just a conversation, right? A subtle little conversation.
Sure.
I did not think I would be here in 2023 based off that subtle conversation. Well, at the same time, I did demand this. I demanded God do something about the vaccines and autistic kids. Said, you need to stop this now. And that was a demand. And a year ago, I was at an event and listening to people. It's a patriotic event. And I'm standing next to a security guard and I go to get some coffee and he goes with me and I'm talking to him and the guy giving out coffee. We're having a conversation and I find out both of them have autistic kids and I start chatting with them. And I gave them my card and said, hey, heavy metals. And a 5-minute conversation. They both thanked me, both took down my information. I walked away, and as I walked away, man, I got this punch in the face of like energy. I demanded that he stopped the damage, right? Stop this train wreck. And at that moment, I realized he doesn't do it. He puts us in the place to do what we asked for. Now, not that he doesn't control, but basically, he was like, you want it done? All right. I'm going to just put people in your path that you're going to do the work that needs to be done. I'm just going to pave the path for you. And your original question was, what's it like? Because of those things happening, I have never given a crap about anybody having any problem with me to the point where the only thing that ever hit me was back in 2016-ish. Someone wrote me a horrible message on Facebook Messenger behind the scenes about how you're an anti-vaccine doctor. I hope your daughter has blah, blah, blah. It was a horrible message, right? Just grotesque, right? And it punched me in the gut. And then I got back on the horse a month later. And at this point, man, I don't give a crap about what anybody thinks because I know, because of those conversations back and forth, I know I'm on a path and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
And that is the real awakening.
Right.
That in itself is the most freeing thing ever. I'm so glad that's where you ended up going, because I'm like, wait, now you're giving God orders. Like, because when I've done that, I know what happens. Yeah. So I'm glad that's where that went, because I didn't even know how I was going to respond. I was like, oh boy.
And keep in mind, we're all human.
Yeah.
I think another thing, I grew up in a Christian home, and I've obviously evolved how my mind works with God. And I'm very different today than I grew up, because it was more being affect everything versus having a conversation every day with them.
Yes.
And it's, people are afraid. Like, you think we're not supposed to, like, I get mad sometimes at God. Like, why is this happening? Why? But I'm still having the conversation.
Yeah, and that's really what's important.
You have to have a conversation with your creator. Why would I can still get pissed at him sometimes, but I guess what? I'm going to do that in a question type world. And then I know that I'm going to get something back.
Yeah.
It gives me viewpoint or perspective on it.
Dude, absolutely. And this is it. We get to co-create with God. When I was
totally,
I'm not like, but when I was in jail and like I had a Holy Spirit experience that blew my mind, and to this day I still can't explain it. But while I was practicing Christianity or following Jesus, it was then and asking hard questions. The freaking preachers wouldn't answer my questions. So then I just started screaming at God, what's the deal? Show me the truth about some very hard issues.
Yeah.
And then God started to show me things in the Bible going, oh, and then I would go verify. And then he would show me where to look to verify this. And I'm going, we have been doing this wrong. This is a trap, not a trap. It may be a training ground. Maybe that's the better way.
Yep.
But you're supposed to evolve out of that even. And my faith and my relationship with God has dramatically changed since that point, which has also helped me go, I have now all these people that I looked at as they would attack me, call me a false prophet, all those other things. I now have compassion for them. I don't hate them. I don't judge them, even though they're being hypocritical douchebags, even though they're contradicting themselves every 5 minutes. I have compassion for them now, because that's where I was. But that's also part of the awakening, is you get to free yourself from this nonsense of infighting. My way's right, my way's wrong. Even my view on good and evil has dramatically changed. And so with all that said, I understand that there's dark forces. I understand that there's people with bad intentions, but it's just much different than what we're told. But I don't believe that any of us, myself or even you included, can actually tell anybody that and then get it. I think you have to find it for.
We all grew up with people telling us what to think. And I'm probably similar to you in the fact that I did horrible in Bible study, because, dude, they're asking me ridiculous questions. I'm not like, when they go, it started right from the beginning too. I remember this sweet old lady God made everything in 6 days and he rested on the seventh. And I said, this is horrible. I said, but the calendar and the clock are a man-made construct. I go, so it couldn't have been a day. Like a day wasn't like 6 days, wasn't 6 days in like human. Dude, she looked at me like I had 10 heads. And I realized, and she was a nice lady, but she takes things from authority versus me, who takes a Bible, a business self-help book, a spiritual book that's written by just man or whatever. And I look at it and I go, okay, by the way, I'm not reading it, I'm studying it. Totally different thing, right?
Way different. It's not a James Patterson novel, in other words.
Correct. Getting out. Oh, by the way, if I don't know a word, go look it up. Like this whole idea. Hey, you don't know what that means. Why'd you keep reading? You don't know you don't even know what you read. Like, you know, and so I go look it up, and then I get it and I study, and then all of a sudden I usually ask for not enlightenment, but I ask for if there's something that I need to see from this.
Yeah.
I don't ever demand that I get it anymore. I'm more of just, hey, help me to see what I need to see, because I can be very hard-headed. I'm very stubborn. Sometimes I'm also like the bull in the china shop. So I will totally miss something if it's in front of me. Like it's like when your wife is like, It's in the refrigerator. I'm like, no, it's not. She's like, you just opened it and looked. You didn't look for it. So now I'm like studying it, conversations, saying, help to make sure I see it because I want to make sure that I do see what I'm supposed to be looking for. Does that make sense?
Oh, so much sense. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I realize that I could probably talk to you for 5 hours, and I know for the second time, like we're gonna have to do this again. But I want
Definitely
to talk about parasites.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those, whether the devil's like just in your mind, I don't know. But if there's ever a devil on this earth that we don't talk about enough, it's parasites.
Yeah.
Can you talk about, because I only know what I found in my own research, and sometimes when you do research for yourself, you end up in wormholes that may not actually be true, but it sounds about right. So I don't know anything factual, but I just know that the little damn demons, and we got to get rid of them. So as an expert, speak to us about the dangers of parasites, where they're at, how we get them out of our body, and so on.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So it's funny because I've also been called the false prophet because I made a claim that not only do you have parasites in you, but also we live in a spiritual world that you sometimes can't see everything around you. And also entities can sometimes actually attach to beings too, which are demonic, some people might say, or parasitic in nature. And I always tell people, if you've watched the series Chosen, the very first episode, the rabbi was asked to go, and I think it was Mary, but I could be wrong. I had to go back and look at it. He was asked to go pull a demon out of this woman who was like not doing well. She was screaming. He went in, and when he was getting the things to take to do it, he asked for wormwood. And I was watching, and I look at my daughter, and I go, "Parasite." I go, they knew about parasites back then. They wouldn't have used wormwood if they had not, because wormwood is one of the herbs to kill off parasites. Yep. And she was clutching her abdomen, and I said, yeah, she definitely has a spiritual issue going on, but she also has a physical issue, because keep in mind the hygiene at that point was not wonderful. Lots of dirt. There was in a hut, that kind of thing. I go, she has parasites, and one is she's actually having problems physically, but keep in mind they knew about that. They were using frankincense, myrrh. These are all essential oils, herbs, etc. Like they were so much more advanced than us today. And yeah, parasites. So I'll be honest with you. Here's a rabbit hole. I won't go down it deep because we could have conversations for hours. I am actually 100% in the camp, and I could not give you every answer because I'm still studying it all the time. I believe our planet was taken over by a spiritual enemy that's not from here, and that it's in control of many of our politicians. A lot of people like to use the word reptilian. It doesn't matter what word you use. Lizard people, snake, parasitic, the whole thing, right? That's where it starts. Now, from a standpoint of like everyday stuff, yes, everybody has parasites. Our land, all of our land on planet Earth, America included, lots of toxins, lots of glyphosates on the food, vaccines, which parasites are in the vaccines as well, because they make them with genetically modified ingredients, which harbors parasites. The reason I got this, my wife and I have been working with this stuff for 20 years in our practice, and we're one of the bigger offices in the world for doing this. And so we handle lots of parasites. Now, there is a belief, scientifically backed by many of the older practitioners who've been banned by the FDA. There's long since passed, but they were too outspoken. I don't want to say 100%, but I would say 95+% of all diseases are the source parasitic in nature. Now, there might also be molds and metals and things like that, but I've never not seen a parasite or a parasitic situation at that source. And so we go in, we clean it up with herbs. On my website, we do that. I have a big class that people come into to help them clean that stuff out. We have literally seen reversal of RA, reversal of diverticulitis, reversal of any major thing you can have happen, down to we've seen cancerous tumors in the brain reverse and turn themselves around. Cancerous tumors in the breast tissue reverse and turn themselves around. And when people think that's crazy, I tell everybody, go to Google and literally look up parasites in cancer and watch how many studies pop up showing you the correlation between parasites and cancer. This is why they will never find a cure to cancer, because this is why they also shut down parasitic medications and shut down parasitic herbs, because cancer makes them so much money and keeps the population so sick They do not want you knowing about parasites.
Is it true that cancer is actually meant to heal your body, not kill it?
So with cancer, what's happening in the body is it's actually going after typically a toxin, but then you get calcium that goes in and surrounds it. So you get a tumor created and that'll keep building. Yes, technically it's trying to save you, but then it turns over at some point and it becomes obviously catastrophic for the body. But yeah, so I always tell people, because anytime they find a cancerous situation, they'll find a tumor which is surrounded by calcium. That's the body literally trying to protect itself, but then it just gets out of hand. It goes out of control and it takes the body with it.
Okay, I have a I don't even know how to ask this question, but I'm going to ask. So in my research, when I was diving down, they like these little parasitic demons. I've seen a lot of information about how it could be the cause of this sexual revolution of confusion that we have, gender identity, people becoming gay, bisexual, yada, yada, yada. And then I think back in my own life and struggling with my sexuality and that battle that went on. I don't know if I was born the way that I was or not, but I do know that I was molested by men. I know how I was molested and being anally penetrated. And that is one way that you can transfer, whether it's a soul tie, transfer a parasite, or whatever it may be. Is there any truth or any reason to believe that the reason why we have this issue now that seems to be in everyone's face, and I know there's $1 billion marketing campaign behind it, but there are people that are actually struggling with gender confusion and not knowing their true sexual identity. Do parasites, in your opinion, have anything to do with it?
100%.
Whoa,
I mean,
really?
Not just that,
Holy
the chemical warfare on a human being, the vaccine itself goes in. The vaccine itself is genetically modified organisms, right? That's what they use for the base. On top of that, they're putting in heavy metals, which affect the brain. But on top of that, they're putting in the DNA of another human into your body, which is not supposed to be there. So now you have altering chromosomes coming at each other, but also, yes, the parasites will go in there. The parasites literally confuse people because they will gobble up your neurotransmitters, which will make your brain not fully work, which makes you confused. We have so much confusion today because, one, you have a biochemical disaster going on in the body, which makes the brain malfunction. So obviously spiritual issues too, but you match up a spiritual issue with also body confusion. I'm not a big fan of many new alternative lifestyles out there, but I also feel bad for people because they don't even know what's happening to them. There's an onslaught on them. I was just watching a commercial the other day in the hotel. We don't have TV at home, but I turned it on and there was a minute-long commercial on HIV drugs, and literally they targeted gay, but they targeted Black population, all looking like they were about mid-20s to mid-30s. And I looked at my wife and I go, first of all, it's disgusting that they're putting it on television because now you're trying to confuse kids and everybody else. I go, but also I feel bad, not in a sympathetic way, but an empathetic way. I feel bad for the people because they're being used by an industry to destroy an entire demographic. And it doesn't matter. Hey, I'm not personally in line with the homosexual lifestyle, but I'm not going to treat them differently. They're human beings. We have to love. Yeah. You're taught by Christ to love, right?
That's right.
However, you have a system that is literally throwing hate at them. And I don't know if you've ever seen, I believe it was it's either House of Numbers or House of Cards. There's a documentary on HIV. I have the book on my shelf that's called Inventing the AIDS Virus by Anthony Fauci. He wasn't the original author, but he was involved with this. Yeah. And yes, of course, clearly you have microbiome in the rectum area, in the large intestine area. When you're changing that and mixing that, and you're going to have problems. There's no way around that. It's literally a physiological situation you're having problems with. But their job, their goal, it was to literally depopulate the populations they don't like. And at the end of the day, you can go look it up on YouTube. What's his name? Montagnier, Luc Montagnier. He's since passed away. They asked him, because he wrote the book on it, can you solve HIV/AIDS? And he said, yeah, it's really simple, in his French accent. And I've had one that I've done this with. I've only worked with one just because they don't usually come to my office, but I've worked with one. I helped someone go from a category 4 HIV to non-existent in about 3 to 6 months. He says on camera, yeah, you just fix the hygiene, feed them good nutrition, and kill off the virus. Done. But the agenda is to take out that population. So that's why you'll never hear about it, because you have to go searching for it.
That's okay. So my health journey, even though I still take the medication, I went down that by starving the virus.
Yep.
If I go take a test, it will not show up.
Yep.
I still say I have HIV because I know that a lot of people are about to find out they have HIV or something worse.
You might be able to help a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't shy from it at all. Like, I'm grateful that I have it. And frankly, if I didn't have HIV, when I did an episode, this is what got me kicked off of YouTube the first time, is when I first saw that Genvoya was in, or Gilead, sorry, Genvoya is my medication. Gilead is who makes it. When I saw that they were involved at the very, very beginning of what was happening with COVID, I thought, that's freaking weird. Why would HIV drug manufacturer be involved in COVID? And so then I started...
because it's in the spike.
Exactly. Then I learned about Dr. Fauci and his role.
Yep. And
so I did this episode, and like how I was able to tie that in to the fourth industrial revolution, the internet of bodies, graphene oxide, mRNA, like that all in one day, all came to me. And that came through prayer, actually.
Yeah.
Because I was actually talking to God, show me, like, what is this? And I'd also read The Great Reset. I'd read the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So like it all made sense to me and connected really fast. But that's why I didn't take it. Not that I probably would have not have taken it anyway. But that said, became the big flashing red light that I couldn't ignore, going, this is it. This is what I was dreaming about as a kid. This is, holy crap, this is all going to happen. So I started warning people.
Yeah.
And that's how I started getting kicked off and deplatformed and losing family and friends and everything.
You're on your divine path and purpose, man.
Amen to that. I absolutely am. It's given me purpose. For all that I've lost, I've gained so much more. And that's why I have so much respect for you, because if I don't have a medical license, I could just be considered, I was a 20-year chemsex addict. I was out of control. I was a demon. I had all kinds of crap going on with me. And then God got a hold of me and radically changed my life.
That's awesome.
But that said, I don't know what people say about me is what they say about me. I'm not risking as much as someone like yourself. So there's several reasons why I admire you. But this stand that you're taking and this mission, to me, it means a lot because you're risking so much. So I honor you, man.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But I don't look at it any different as someone like you doing the same thing. It doesn't matter if you have a degree or not, man. You're fulfilling your purpose. And let me tell you, like I tell people all the time, okay, I'm a doctor. I can do stuff over here. That's great. But guess what? I don't have your story, your angle. And quite honestly, as I said, my job is not to judge anybody. Do we sometimes make mistakes? Sure, we do. Like we all fall a little short. You have an entire population that I can't necessarily impact because I just don't have a reality with them. Yeah. However, you do. So your impact there is just as big as my impact over there. So I appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you. Doctor, I know for the sake of time, we need to wrap this up, but I want to give you the floor to talk about Brave TV, talk about your work, talk about your supplements. Like, I'll let you have the final words. And again, just so grateful for your time, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. BraveTV.com. You go there, check it out. Podcasts 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, starting at noon Eastern time. We go however long we go. And it's health, freedom, and knowledge. And really, at the end of the day, knowledge. And you can go to bravetv.store as well, which is the website for the products. But I tell people, really, the message at the end of the day, there's lots of angles I can take, but we do a lot of blaming, which, like, I can put a headline out there. The cabal does this, they do that. But the message, though, really is, I can't blame a cabal. I can't blame a bunch of globalists. I can't blame a bunch of people I don't know. But who I can technically blame, and when I say blame, I don't mean I can look in the mirror and go, okay, I was born into this. I didn't make some of the decisions to make this thing go this way, but I'm responsible. Hey, because every single thing I do during the day is technically towards good or towards bad. So I can get up and I can let my daughter play on YouTube all day long and not give a crap about what she's seeing and just let her go. Or I can make sure she has books in her hands. If she does watch something, I know what's going on. I know what the story is. I know, everything else. I can sit down at the dinner table at night with my wife and daughter without electronics and books and actually have a dinner and talk to each other. I can go to Sunday dinner with my Italian in-laws every Sunday night and have 2 to 3 hours of dinner, because that's how they do it, and then let them hang with my daughter and hang with us and build this culture is really what it is. And if I do that and I bring my responsibility level up, and then other people watch me and they bring their responsibility level up, and my family's taken care of, then their family's taken care of, your neighbor's taken care of, a community starts getting taken care of. Next thing, a state is, you see where I'm going? When you do that, God just manifests where you're supposed to go. But at the end of the day, put your hands back on the steering wheel and take responsibility for your own world. So that's really my message.
I'm your new biggest fan, man. You could not, literally just, we are completely aligned on that. And even where you're at with faith, and just, we're 100% aligned. I'm grateful for your work. You all check out Brave TV. It's actually amazing. Really great channel. Your movement is awesome. You have our support. And Dr. Dean, again, so grateful for your time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Josh.